Hi everybody, I'm Kristen and I welcome you to my very first vlog ever. So this is something really new for me, but I'm really excited to show you guys how 2 days in my life look like. So I'm a screenwriter, which means that I create stories for any kind of format, like TV, feature films, books, audio plays, short films, games, and so on. I have directed and I acted in some of the short films, but mainly my responsibility is the story. So not everybody knows what a screenwriter is doing. More than just once, people did frown at me when I told them that I'm a trained screenwriter. So, you know, all the characters and the action and the plot and the dialogue you see in a movie, like the whole concept and idea, we are the ones who create that. And this is my office, or actually my office is wherever my lovely computer is. Normally I always sit on the couch or the bed, so I never need a desk in my room. Each day is really busy and different because you always work on different projects which are on different stages of development. So for some projects I'm still brainstorming, which you can see here. I did that 1 minute before I started this vlog. I used to put all the beats on these little notes and then I put them everywhere in my room. And then for other projects I'm writing on a beat sheet or a first draft or a second draft or a fifth draft. And yeah, I'm working on private projects and projects that will be produced after COVID. And for everything that will be produced or published, I work with a team, usually with one other person. And additionally, all the projects are mostly in different genres. Especially if you work together with someone else, you will find yourself working, writing in different genres when you are used to. Because my usual genre is action, containing a lot of blood. I also got a nomination for the most terrifying narration from my game teacher at VFS, and I'm still really proud of that. But screenwriting is not just typing text in Final Draft. Oh no, we do so much more. And I actually wrote down here on my computer what we are doing because it's just too much to remember. So we do a lot of research. Yeah, a lot of it. We create short log lines, synopsis, pitch documents, long bibles, design documents for games, interactive twine games. We make our scripts ready for competitions. We need to promote our stories, everything to sell the story basically, and it's really intense. One of my highest prioritized projects is, of course, our darling Souls of Syra. I'm holding the very first book, Reunions, in my hands right now that kicks off the epic dark fantasy saga. Created by CHRISTIN Creations, a content powerhouse I co-created with my dear writing partner Savana Thompson. It's a dark fantasy saga about how a foretold prophecy leads to a truce between a vengeful dark elf warrior and a reckless half-demon, half-mortal outcast as they journey to the underworld to bring an end to a centuries-long war and avenge those from their past. Because we are living in different countries, we are zooming and working on it several days a week, and we workshop the pages once a week every week before our two final editors go over it and leave detailed comments a week before the launch. The book saga is built on short novels that contain about 50 pages per issue because we think that shorter and more dynamic books are the future, especially for readers who can only spend a small amount of time reading in their everyday life, like me. And that's how I spend my day, coming up and creating cool characters, worlds and plots and bringing them on the page. So what am I doing in my free time? When I'm not watching Netflix, I often take a walk in the forest, which you see we got a lot of here in Sweden. Yeah, taking a walk and talking about my projects out loud is the greatest ways to get new ideas or to fix scenes you're struggling with. When I need inspiration, I always go for a walk, and it always helped me. I did it also like back then in school and at VFS when like a deadline was coming up and I had no idea what idea I should like develop. And yeah, like one time I came up with a like fantasy, really lore-based game while walking in a park for like 1 hour. It was great. Yeah, like otherwise I'm watching Netflix. I'm on the second season of How to Get Away with Murder, so don't spoil it, it's really great. I'm playing games on my new PS5 that finally arrived this week after 3 months. I'm playing The Last of Us today, but at the same time like I have like 7 other games I play at the same time, kind of. Yeah, and you never know, like all of that can give you inspiration. Like I never know when an idea hits me. Once it was on a bus, once it was like watching a documentary. The other time it was, yeah, I just saw a really cool location in a film and like some characters and the story idea just popped up in my head. It's fantastic how our brains work. But yeah, I think with that, I'm gonna leave it by that, and yeah, I wish you a lovely day.
Hi, and welcome to my work professional vlog portion of the Breaking Character interview. Major thanks to jordan-paige for having me and Christine on the show to begin with and giving us this opportunity to share what it is that we do, how we create what we've created, and just give us this opportunity to just talk about ourselves and actually have people listen. I'll start, I guess, with introducing myself. My name is Savana Thompson. I'm almost 23, and I was born in Edmonton, Alberta. Moved to Vancouver to kind of pursue this more as a career. Thought there was better options out here, and yeah, now I'm trying to establish myself the best that I can. I went to MacEwan University in Edmonton for their creative writing program, and then the Vancouver Film School for their screenwriting program with a focus in television. My career so far, it's mainly been our Souls of Syra series, which has just been such a blessing to us. We are so happy with how it's turning out, with how much support we are getting from friends, family, and just the general public. And it's just really, yeah, it's a dream come true. It is fantastic to us, and we are forever grateful for it. And we cannot wait to see, where it takes us, and show you guys really more of what's been going on in our heads for the past year. On the topic of Souls of Syra, I guess, because that is my main kind of career project right now. I'll just kind of take you guys through what it is that we do, how we create each book, and just how long it takes and all the steps that go along with it. So, I guess the first step, plot pointing, of course. We call it the wrong term, we call it beat cheating, but that's just because we still kind of have like that film screenwriting mentality drilled into our heads, but that's kind of, it's the same thing a little bit. So we just outline it, we completely go over it, we workshop it, we really figure out, does this make sense? Does it have a really good beginning, middle, end, all of that? Is there enough, like, you know, reveals? Are we not giving away too much? Is there a good cliffhanger? Are people going to want to read more of this? Because those are just all key components to producing and creating something that, is going to build a fan base, is going to impress readers, and just really keep them coming back for more. And so once that is done, it's now time to actually start writing it. And so right now, our books, they are shorter than average. They are mini books, I guess. They, usually are between 48 and 70 pages, but that allows us to release them in kind of a constant flow. We are taking the comic approach to them almost, where, it's kind of a monthly thing that these things are released rather than having to wait, a year or two for the next book to come out. We want it to be a constant stream of content where our readers cannot wait to read it more and they don't have to wait for long periods of time to do so. So we do our pages in intervals. We usually split them into thirds, and that is to make it easier for this workshop group that we are a part of, that we have assembled with people that we went to school with who are also interested in having their work read over and getting opinions back on it, and just kind of doing a trial run of these pages and making sure that they work, that there's nothing missing, that there's no plot holes, and it's just a really helpful thing that we do once a week. Usually on Sundays, there's about 4 to 5 of us that meet on a consistent basis, and it's just a very helpful thing that we've created where, yeah, we can really get a sense of what's working and what's not working, and then take it back to the drawing board, fix those mistakes, and bring it back again for the middle pages and the end pages and repeat until we have the finished product. And then at that point, we send it off to our editors. We currently have 2 of them. Shout out to Jordan-Paige, of course, producer of the show, and Severia, who is another classmate of ours who just really goes hard when it comes to editing and not holding back on that. And we wanted somebody who was not afraid to, I guess, hurt our feelings in the process and just really tell us, this isn't working. I don't care if you don't like that. It's not working. And she really does a good job of that, and we are very thankful, even though sometimes it's a lot to take in, and to, something that you've worked on, to hear like, oh, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't work, but at the same time, we want the best product that we can possibly have by the end of it and by the time it goes into publishing. And so she's just been really helpful with that. So while our editors are kind of working on it, we are working alongside our artist, who is just, he is a godsend to us. A friend of mine that I knew before we started working on this, who just really came in clutch when it came to having somebody who could give us these really interesting visual covers and just know our characters down to just everything about them, and really produce these covers that we are happy to have and to help represent our work. And we are crazy grateful for him. Shout out to Lance. You really helped bring this project to just bring it to light, bring it out. And working with him, he's young, he's starting out, but it's just been a great experience so far. And he is a great artist to work with, and we can't wait to see him become, more, and to really get himself noticed and get himself out there. And we're hoping that by having him work alongside us on this project, that we can kind of give him that representation that he needs and help put him out there so that he can be noticed by others who really just need that talented artist to help you with your project, especially when you are not an artist yourself, which neither me or Christine are. I can't draw. It's bad. So, once that's all done, we have our cover, all the planning's done, it's drawn. We do our final read over, make sure everything makes sense. We fixed all the, comments, mistakes, everything brought up by our editors. And at that point, while we're doing that read over, we start working on marketing, which is mainly focused on Instagram, Twitter. We get it out there to our followers. We're like, hey, this is the release date. Here's a sneak peek of the cover. Here's a sneak peek of what's going to happen in this book. Get them hyped. And then, comes publishing day. And that's always exciting, although we're still kind of figuring out the ins and outs of, Kindle publisher and everything like that. Causes us grief a lot, but we're only published 2 books at this point, so it's still kind of a learning process. But, we are just, again, we're really grateful that such a thing exists where we don't have to go through the traditional publishing houses, which just takes a really long time, in my opinion, and it's just so much easier to be able to put your work out there and, market it yourself and just have full creative control over it. Um, so once those books are published, we start focusing again on just updating our social media, keeping people interested. So because our books really only come out in month and a half kind of intervals, and so we really have to make sure that people aren't forgetting about us during that time. Hopefully they aren't, but it's really it's all about engaging your audience, I suppose, and making sure everything's working, they're enjoying the characters, they're hyped about the next book, and that also involves checking our stats on Kindle Publisher, making sure like, hey, is this book still kind of in the charts? Is it, selling? Is it working? And what do we have to change to make sure that it kind of keeps on that path or increases its sales? And so then that's when we start looking at other forms of marketing, whether that be like free offers, finding blogs, websites, anything that promotes kind of these Kindle ebooks, and as well as building a fan base, whether that be on Tumblr, DeviantArt, just places where people go who want to see new fantasy stories and be involved in something. And so, again, we're not really experts on marketing. We didn't go to school for that, but we're learning. And again, this entire thing is just like a learning process for us. It's about what is right, what is wrong, how do we do this the best way that we can. And we are just always learning, always figuring out new things. And it's a lot, but it's really worth it. It's great. We love it. So, when that's kind of all over and done with, we're not marketing, we're not writing a current book, we are kind of working on two other things. One, Bible construction. When it comes to writing a fantasy series like this, there's just so much to it and so many ideas that you come up with that it is so hard to keep track of all of it. And so we have this huge story Bible going where we try to keep everything jotted down so we don't forget anything and make sure that everything's adding up. There's no plot holes, there's nothing that doesn't make sense. And it's a lot, but it's very helpful to be able to go back and be like, okay, like that's what we missed. That's what didn't make sense. Yeah, like fantasy, sci-fi, any of those like high concept kind of genres, you have a lot that you have to remember, and having a Bible just makes it so much easier. And when we're not doing that, we are focusing on Savana Creations, which is kind of our content hub that we are starting up, and right now it's focused primarily on our work, but we are hoping to get involved with other creatives and really create something where we can showcase work, we can get people out there, especially those that are just starting in the industry like we are, and really hope to just turn that into something one day. But again, it's a learning process, it takes time, but we're dedicated to that. Once that's all over and done with, I guess the last thing that I work on is, it has to do, I guess, a bit with marketing. We were kind of doing some research. We were like, which social media apps, which websites are the best for, getting our stuff out there, getting it noticed. And of course, as many of you know, right now, the biggest platform is TikTok. And so we're like, how do we get this on there? Because, we don't draw, and then it's kind of hard without like, proper cosplay and stuff, like to make videos about a book. And so I've been teaching myself how to animate, which is taking time. It's hard to do when you don't go to school for it or anything like that. But again, with the internet, I'm just so privileged to be able to find these different programs that are free, Daz Studio, Blender, and try to teach myself the art of just simple animations to start so that we can take our characters, animate them, get them out there, and try to produce these videos on TikTok to, again, build our fan base, because that's really what it's all about, is getting a dedicated audience that cannot wait for more, who just gets just as involved in our characters as we are, and that's the dream for us, that's the goal, and we are hoping that, that can one day be a reality where people know us by name, they know what we do, and we just have this fan base that we could never dream of letting down. And so I guess that's it for now. I don't want to keep this blog going for too long. But thank you so much for listening, for tuning in, and for caring. And we hope to see you at our interview with Jordan-Paige, and really just, let you guys know a bit more of what we do, CHRISTIN Creations, how we met, how VFS went, and really just all those other little unanswered questions that I didn't get around to answering in this vlog. But again, thank you, and I will see you then. Howdy, and welcome to my off day.
So I guess the first thing I like to do is try to get up early. The keyword here is try. And just go for a walk. There aren't a ton of places around my house, which is kind of inconvenient, but there's like a coffee shop, it's like 25 minutes away. So it's kind of nice to just walk up there.
Once I get to the cafe, it's really just all about seeing how much work I can get done while just kind of enjoying myself, plot pointing, script writing, just really anything that I feel like I have to get a head start on.
After getting coffee, I like to come to this park that's kind of close to my house and just kind of chill, enjoy the morning. Sometimes I plot point here and think of things, but today we just kind of have my coffee and watching dogs play. But it's really just a place to relax before I have to get started on everything else. Usually on my days off, I also like to spend copious amounts of time on Discord with my best friends.
I hate it here. Shut up, Grandpa. Save me!
So depending on the day, usually Mondays and Saturdays, I play 2 different D&D campaigns with my slowly building collection of colorful dice, and yeah, it's 2 different sessions, 2 different DMs, and it's just kind of a fun way to pass the time. And then at the end of my day, I kind of just like to have a bit of a spa night, just skincare, hair care, all that other stuff, get some music going, have a nice bath, and just kind of end my day on a good note. And so once I've done kind of all of my night care or whatever it is that I usually do to get ready for bed, I kind of set the mood. I'm a real big fan of, fancy lights and color, and then that's the end of my day. It's time to sleep. Thank you so much to you guys for actually watching this vlog, and I can't wait to be on the show.